So my name is Caroline and I'm going to be emceeing the session today. My colleague Riley, who usually coordinates these webinars, is unfortunately unwell today. So I've taken over, and that's also why you can probably see Riley Lesky as the name, but my name is Caroline Mackay. So the presentation today is EcoBrick Sisters, Engineering, Sustainability and Entrepreneurship. And we've got two wonderful sisters presenting on their story today, and I will be handing over to them both shortly. So just a few common questions that we have throughout the session that we usually respond to, but just a couple of points. This session is being recorded, so there will be the recording as well as these presentation slides sent through to all of the registered attendees in the next 2 working days. Also, a certificate of attendance will be sent through, so everyone will have a copy of this by Monday, close of business. Just a quick insight into EIT. So we are one of the only engineering institutes in the world that specialises in engineering. We offer professional development courses all the way through to a Doctor of Engineering program. All of our programs are obviously industry oriented. We have expert lecturers from around the globe that teach our students. So it's an extremely exciting model to be a part of. We also offer on-campus programs in Melbourne and Perth, and we're very excited to welcome back international students on campus next year when the borders open. I'll just move to the next slide. So today we've done the welcome. I'm going to shortly pass over to Kettibone and Kekeletso, and they're going to be speaking to you about EcoBricks today. They're going to run over the problem and their solution, and then finally we'll conclude with Q&A. So throughout the session, if you've got any questions, please use the chat box and send them through. If we can't get to them throughout the session, we will try and respond to them at the end. And of course, if you've got any questions after the session, you can reach out to myself or our wonderful presenters today. So I'm actually going to be changing the slides on our screen at the moment, so please bear with me. Kettibone, are you able to switch your video on? And I'm going to actually change over to your, it's just loading up. Hi ladies, I'm going to pass over to you and just let me know if you've got any issues, but I'm just going to mute myself and I'll be here in the chat box to assist with it.
Sure, no problem. I think I've pressed something now. I thought I was opening the slide.
That's all right. Let me just open them up for you.
Sorry, we're not familiar with this.
That's all right. All good. If you also want to turn off your notifications, Kettibone, you can go to the bottom right-hand side, but otherwise, if that's all good, you can just continue throughout the session now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We are very excited. Things are busy on our side, but we're definitely excited to be here. And as we wrap up the year, things are very crazy, but this is a wonderful opportunity. So my name is Kettibone and this is Kekeletso. Welcome to Ramtsilo, the home of the plastic bricks, all the way out from South Africa. So just a bit of a background. I'm like the face of the company, as they call it. So I've got a finance background, having completed an honors degree in internal audit, and I've also got a business admin background. Very passionate about women empowerment and going through the process with the company along with legislative requirements is to make sure that we meet some of the requirements for bricks, and building structures. So there's an institution in South Africa called Agrima, which certifies non-standard products like what we manufacture, and I'm working with them in the certification of the bricks. And Kikeletso has an engineering background, so she'll be interacting a lot with you guys. She has a civil engineering background and has done a business incubator course at the Northwest University. She's also passionate about the environment, and when we talk about the story of how we actually started, you understand why that brings us to where we are. And she's basically managed the business for the longest of time on her own until I joined her in the later years. So in terms of the timelines of our business started in 2013. And I mean, just a bit of a further background in that regard. We grew up in a construction household where our father had a construction business and he was doing general building, and then we would always go with him on site during school holidays. And it would be a matter of I would go into the office. So I would go into the business side of things, and Keke would always be gravitating towards the construction side. And she would be there watching the trenches, going into the trenches and watching a building go from foundation upwards, So we grew up with this for a couple of years. Initially, it felt like it was punishment, but we later got to understand that this is actually what was building us and building character. So in 2013, our father then registered a business for us, having identified opportunities that are available in the infrastructure development space for women and for young people. So we started doing construction, building materials specifically, and we identified that we're spending quite a lot of money on building materials, specifically bricks. So we went into manufacturing. So in South Africa, we use particularly the clay bricks, and then we also use the cement bricks quite a lot. So we went into the manufacturing of the conventional cement bricks, and in 2016 we wanted something that was different and innovative and that set us apart, because there's quite a lot of manufacturers of bricks in South Africa. And so we started looking at how we can set ourselves apart. And we are from the township, so we see quite a lot of individuals who are waste collectors. And so we interacted with an elderly waste picker who explained to us what they do for a living, and how plastic recycling specifically has created an income for her and the ability to feed her grandchildren, afford medication, and also make a notable difference in the economy and in the environment, rather, by cleaning up plastic waste. So we then thought to ourselves, okay, maybe there is something that we can do in this space. And Kikeletso is particularly OCD about litter and has always been since growing up. She would be one of those people who, when you throw something on the floor, she would give it back to you and say, throw it in the bin. So we then knew that we had to do something that was in the building material space, which is what we knew, construction and building material was our background. However, we wanted to play a part in the recycling space as well, which is how we then started prototyping the use of different plastics into the manufacturing of our bricks. And as you can imagine, this took a long time in terms of research and development. So we invested quite a lot in getting the product to a certain look and feel, and to how it can be a product that competes within the market, something that works for what is available in the market, what people know. So when we went into the prototyping, it took about a year and a half. And in early 2017, we had a product that we were comfortable with, a product that had the same look and feel as a conventional brick, and was not, when you're manufacturing something like a brick, you're manufacturing something that's going to build a house, a hospital, whatever it is, it's going to be useful. So it's important that you make sure that it meets certain requirements. And I don't need to tell you guys about it, because this is your area of expertise. So in 2017, we had a product that we're comfortable with. It looks like this. And I don't know how good my camera quality is, but what we wanted to do was to ensure that we manufacture a product that was as construction friendly as possible, as environmentally friendly as possible, but also very easy to use, so that when people see it in the shops, you don't have to convince them too much to try the product out, which has been a great benefit, because with some technology that we've come across, there's been a bit of reluctance in because of simply the look and feel before people even understand what the product is about. So in 2019, we went into expansion. We got an opportunity to access new markets, and that is how we got into establishing a production plant. And today we're manufacturing, we are actually South Africa's first established plastic brick manufacturing plant, and we've got patented IP in how we manufacture these products. And we've tested throughout the process from product development till date. We are testing our products so that we make sure that we meet the requirements of structural and other requirements for building bricks specifically. So apart from the fact that we understood how cleaning up of plastic was important, we identified that plastic is used quite extensively and in various industries. It is therefore important that even though we are primarily focused on packaging plastic, which is probably, as you can see on the presentation, quite the biggest in terms of consumption of plastic. But there's other industries that we wanted to make sure that even in those spaces, we ensure maximum recyclability and we play our part in circular economy. We all, as individuals, as entities, have a role to play within the circular economy. It's not limited just to the governments and the big business, you know. So all the different industries also have a part to play in ensuring that plastic is fully recycled, and this is how we are playing our part in our manufacturing process. So some of the problems that we identified in South Africa specifically is that we've got high rates of unemployment, and COVID-19 has made things worse as well. So unemployment both young and old, but of particular concern is the young people. And there's also the growth in plastic pollution. You know, again, with COVID-19 as well, it's further exacerbated the situation where we see even more plastic pollution taking place, more single-use plastic consumption as well. So it is, our recycling rates are quite low both globally and in South Africa. And another very familiar picture of South Africa is informal settlements or informal dwelling. So there is a huge need for structural homes. There's a need for infrastructure. And this is why we thought we should play in the space, but ensuring that we meet imperative requirements for addressing the solution. And to make sure that, you know, it's an end-to-end solution as well. You don't just introduce a solution for the sake of it. So our guiding principles have really been to ensure that zero waste goes to landfill. We've worked hard to support, we work hard to support environmental cleanup initiatives, because in the cleanups we've identified that some of the plastic that's collected, there's currently no infrastructure to recycle this plastic. So, which is the key differentiator again with our product, is we're able to recycle most types of plastic because of the fact that we're manufacturing this brick. The brick is good quality. If only we could see it in person, but it is very good quality, and even the consistency of it and the density has been something that we focused on during product development. And we are enabling the circular economy in how we produce, how we collect, and how we recycle our bricks. And I mean, we're very proud of our technology. Our vision is guided by becoming leading pioneers in innovation. And this is through innovative thinking in both in the recycling space, but also in the structural space, because this product has opened up, or the manufacturing process of this product, which we went through for years, has resulted in other markets opening up. So through this innovative thinking, we've been able to identify other markets that we are getting into and will be exploiting both locally and outside of South Africa. Because of the number of years that we spent developing the solution, we have gotten to understand how to stand out, but also how to make sure that structurally we manufacture something that is good for the environment long term. We are guided by the principles of elimination of plastic. Zero waste is our intention that goes to landfill and into our oceans, of course. Through innovation, we definitely do ensure that we manufacture products that are good for the environment, but it is very, very imperative, as our mission states, to ensure that we, through innovative thinking, innovative products, and innovative ways of manufacturing, we are always catalysts in that regard. And definitely circular, because if this product itself, the way it looks, it does not have any visible plastic in it, which is very important. Even if a building is broke, a building structure is broken or demolished, or the product during construction is broken in half or for chasing or whatever need, excuse me, it does not have impact on the environment. So there's no plastic that leaks throughout the life cycle of this brick. So circularity or circular economy has been very important in our regard, because we wanted to make sure that even long term we don't create a problem that for the next generation, once a building is demolished, will be plastic leakage into the environment, which is catalyst, because we don't want that situation taking place.
So I'm gonna tell you guys more about the brick. So today we're just gonna discuss the stock brick. So in comparison to a cement stock brick, our brick we have a compressive strength from 7 MPa all the way to 15 MPa. So from 10 MPa upwards, which is the strength, it means you can build single and double story units. And with this one, we strictly stick to 7 MPa because of the customer. That's what the customer wanted. So with this brick comparison to a cement brick, it has about 30% plastic. It has a low water absorption rate because of the plastic element, and it has the same dimensions as a cement stock brick. And it is also the good and benefit of plastic and how we have used it in our manufacturing process. This brick is lighter than your average brick, which is about 2 to 2.5 kilograms. So we've done numerous testing because this is a new product. So when everybody hears plastic and bricks, we just tend to think, what about fire testing? Is this brick strong? Will this brick survive the natural temperatures, the light, sunlight, UV rays, and whatnot? So we ensure that we do a number of testing. So in South Africa, we use the SABS, and we use Beton Lab, which is a private lab. And we also work closely with a big cement manufacturer, which is PPC, that have also helped us to ensure that we test our aggregates to our bricks regularly, and we ensure that we do a number of tests that might arise from this new innovative product, because we're always doing R&D on the product to make sure that we give out a product that's strong, that's durable, and most importantly, that's fire retardant. So in our manufacturing process, there is no pyrolysis. So we don't burn plastic. So because we want to ensure that even in our processes and in a manufacturing plant, we're as green as possible. And we also make sure that we recycle all types of plastic. So in recycling, there's plastic that has numbers from 1 to 7. So 7 is considered your non-recyclables. We actually make sure that everything, even your single-use plastic, we're able to recycle it into a brick. So we're able to make a diverse product, which is from your stock, your maxi, and your paver. So we do interlocking paving. So the advantage of this technology is that we had to make this a priority for us, for R&D, to make sure that we use non-recyclable plastic, because as we know, this is the biggest plastic pollutant, this is the biggest problem that ends up in our landfills, rivers, oceans, and killing marine life. So this is the biggest problem that we wanted to solve by ensuring that it also maintains our structural strength of our brick. So we didn't want to make a brick that's going to be weak and brittle, or worse, to make a brick that's going to be later a problem. So we wanted to make sure that if you cut and chase it, you will not see plastic. So plastic will not end up back in the landfill. And because of the plastic element, I mean, plastic naturally is a problem, but for us, it created a lot of value. In the manufacturing process, we were able to use less water. And in the construction wise, you're able to use less water when you plaster it because of the plastic element. And it has a high compressive strength. Your cement stock, our stock goes up from 7 to 15 MPa, and in South Africa, our cement stock goes from 7, I think, to 10 MPa. And because of the plastic element, they're less porous, so you have less building material over building maintenance, rather, over a long time because of the plastic element. They're also, I need to emphasize this, they are fire retardant. We've done tests, we do tests with South African standards, SABS, and they also have an industry-leading low water absorption rate. They require less building material or building maintenance over time, which saves on a customer building, and they are cost effective as well. So when people think green, when people think eco-friendly, they think expensive. So we wanted to maintain not only the look and feel, not only plug and play to use the brick so that no additional training is required, but also to keep it cost effective. So we are competitively priced. So we ensure that with our bricks, there is 500 kilograms of waste to manufacture 150 square meter home. So we ensure that we are able to calculate how much plastic goes in, how much we process, and how much plastic is in the actual brick.
And this is like one of those very, very exciting things because it gives us an understanding of the impact that we have, because we have quite a lot of low-cost housing in South Africa, and this is to address, through government, to address the lack of housing. So in being able to contribute towards the environment by cleaning up that plastic waste that was at landfill and building or having a contractor build houses for people is probably one of the most important things for us, and one of those truly social goals that we have. And in the fact that we also recycle all types of plastic ensures that even less plastic is in landfill, you know. So it definitely does, it is a solution that cuts across many industries and has benefits, you know, in ensuring that there is little impact on the environment. So during the years that we've been operational, we've received quite a number of accolades and achievements. We have some, just to name a few, there's a Social Innovation Award that runs every year that is done by a private entity called South African SAB, South African Bureau. I think it's now called AB. It was bought over by AB InBev, and we won the Social Innovation Award. We've also won the Asian Pitch and Polish and the Development Bank of Southern Africa Youth Challenge. And we've also been invited by the Department of Small Business to showcase our technology to the presidency. We've received both local and international media coverage, given the fact that this is South Africa's first fully established plastic brick manufacturing plant. And the plant is based in Gauteng, and we've seen significant growth from moving and getting the product into market. And part of that has been sessions like these that draw awareness to what we do, that make people know that there's a product such as this one in the environment, and give us an opportunity to properly explain the technical side of the product. We recycle all types of plastic. This is something that we're really proud of, and we might have mentioned a lot of times. And I think the benefit, just to highlight, is the fact that we're ensuring that less waste goes to landfill. So the pictures that we've attached here show how we are able to recycle different types of industries because of the fact that we take a plastic from the various industries. So whether it's ICT, it's manufacturing, it's different types of areas, it's consumer waste. So as we identified earlier, that there's different industries that use plastic. So we wanted to ensure that we can address a lot of industries at once, because the issue that we've seen is, especially with the unrecyclable waste, because there is no plan for them, those are the ones that typically end up in landfill and also, scary enough, into our ocean. So we knew that to create a truly circular economy, we had to ensure that we do recycle as much plastic, but also taking into account that it does not have harmful chemicals. You know, as we're building these bricks that used to build structures, hospitals, like I said earlier, and the issue with that is the fact that you don't want long-term exposure also because of chemicals, certain chemicals that are in certain types of plastic. So we do not recycle all types of plastic. We actually always say we need to correct our thinking and our understanding, because there are various plastics that the industry is trying to change because of the hazardous elements, but we definitely are recycling quite a lot of plastic, and this is one of the key values that we have created in our technology and in our products. So we've been able to create employment as well, which is a very, very important thing. We've been able to create both direct and indirect employment. And with the direct employment, it's young people. Our aim is to ensure that young people are employed as much as possible, as South Africa is facing a challenge with unemployment of young people. So our entire team comprises of young people, and we've also proudly been able to create indirect employment, and hundreds of young and elderly people, men and women, we've employed through our business and our technology, because there's a guaranteed income on a daily basis and an ability to make a difference, but also be able to, take care of the day-to-day basis, which is buying food, buying a slice of bread, being able to buy bread, put bread on the table. So talking about this indirect employment, one of our key people that we work with are waste pickers, and we sort of pay homage because they're part of how we got into the industry about plastic and understanding the importance of recycling plastic. Where the role of waste pickers cannot be denied in South Africa. Our waste pickers save millions of rands, and this is globally actually, not just in South Africa, but globally, waste pickers save government a lot of money through their initiatives, because they are we call them separation outside of source. So while we're working hard to get individuals to separate at source, it is proving to be a challenge. But in the meantime, we've got people, men and women, elderly and young, who take on this role very much undignified, very much informal, but they collect more than 40% of recycled waste in South Africa. So it's a very, very huge difference that they're making. And by working with Ramtilo, we ensure that we also empower these individuals. So we ensure that there's central collection of plastic, so they don't have to bring the plastic to us once they've collected. That's lowering the cost, but also the strain on them, to have to carry these bags. As you can see in that picture, those are the bags that they push around collecting the waste. So through that, we're also able to boost economic activity in the rural area, which is very important. And one of the things that we do internally as a very, very social element is to train our waste pickers. They collect all this different waste. They don't really understand the value of it. They don't know how to increase its value, how to sort it. So we also train our waste pickers to identify different types of plastic, reduce level of contamination, and then also to be able to increase the value of the plastic. And we've got specific quotas for collection of waste from women and young people. And our aim is always to integrate waste pickers into the formal economy and the mainstream. So this is a picture of our factory. So we used our plastic bricks in the factory construction as well. And what we did was we had independent contractors come and build, do the construction, and we did not tell them that they were using the plastic bricks. And the aim was to get the feel from everyday contractors in terms of how the product is used, how the feel of it and what additional benefit they are. So after the construction is when we told them that they use the plastic bricks and got their experience of it and what areas to improve. And this is how we always ensure, even throughout our manufacturing process, that we are continuously improving, getting feedback and seeing how we can better the product, or what is it that stands out about the product. And it's always important for us to have that first-hand feedback and first-hand experience of the product. One of our greatest achievements following the COVID process, our industry in response to the COVID-19 pandemic was we were closed down for 7 months. So you can imagine when we set up this site and we got all our machinery installed and got all our people ready. This was towards the end of 2019 and early 2020. And then we went straight into lockdown. So when we went into the lockdown, it was 7 months of no activity in terms of construction. We could only start the recycling business, which is the collection of waste. So we had quite a difficult time, and securing this big contract, which is through one of the biggest retailers in the building material industry, has presence both in South Africa nationally, but also outside of South Africa, which creates a huge opportunity for growing the footprint of the plastic bricks, outside of South Africa and Africa, hopefully in the growth of the product. And this was a huge achievement for us, something that we really are proud of having achieved. And yeah, so we're truly grateful for this opportunity, truly grateful for the people who are here to hear us out, the interaction. We look forward to interacting with everybody, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, ladies. That was absolutely inspiring, and you can just see that you guys are changing the world. There are so many questions that were coming through. So before I actually go to the questions, I'm just going to quickly run over the final bunch of our slides, and then I will hand over to you guys, and I will ask you some questions that have been coming through in the chat box. So I'm just going to pop up on the screen. So just before we wrap up with Q&A today, everyone can see we run technical topic webinars just like what you've heard today every month. The next one is being presented by Professor Barbara Oakley, who's based in the United States, and she's going to be doing a tech topic on learning how to learn for engineering professionals. So please have a look on our website. There's the link there, and we'll send the link through when we send the presentation slides and the recording of this webinar. Just a little overview of our upcoming courses. We've got a range of courses that are coming in January and February, so you can have a look at our course information there. And just before I go to the Q&A, I'm just going to pop up here our certificate of attendance. To receive one, we ask you to please scan the QR code up on the screen now. Otherwise, there will be a link that I will pop into the chat box that everyone can also use. So we will be sending the certificate of attendances out by close of business Monday. All right. And then over to the Q&A. So I'm just going to go back to some of the questions that were coming through at the start, and I will ask them. Just bear with me. So Vicky had a question. Plastics are everywhere. How about plastic asphalt for roads? Have you guys got any comments on that?
How about that, Vicky? Yeah, that's a good proposal. It's actually something that we are also in the process of prototyping. As you said, we always do a lot of R&D. So we wanted firstly to perfect this baby over here before we then focus on other things as well. But that's definitely something we are also interested in.
The other question is, what's the weight of a single block?
So, as I said, I'm going to compare it to a cement stock brick. So ours goes about 2 kg or even 1.5, depending on how much plastic we add. And normally in South Africa, our cement bricks are 3 to 4 kilograms in weight.
All right, awesome. I think you've run over this, but how much time is required to create a block? I guess from the start to the end. From
Initially,
scratch to final product.
Initially it took us quite a bit of time, but having invested in manufacturing process and also bettering the number of units that we manufacture, within 3 minutes, it takes us, so our cycle is 3 minutes, and we manufacture 600 bricks per 3 minutes.
Wow, that's incredible. The other question from Farah, how much, oh no, sorry, that's the same question. Oh, from Farah, how it can resist the heat to come in. So, yeah.
So in the look and feel, that's what I'm saying, it's such a missed opportunity, because it's always great when people can see and touch the product. We ensured that it's not fully plastic. So there's about between 10 to 30% plastic, depending on the strength we want to achieve. So in that process, we ensured that there was resistance against heat, there was resistance against UV rays, and also against fire, because we understood that the use of plastic into a product such as a brick, which is exposed, which is, sitting, some people do not plaster their bricks, so you also need to make sure that you keep those individuals safe as well. So that's why we limit the amount of plastic that goes into per product, but also in the manufacturing of the product, we ensure that there is no plastic visible. So it definitely is able to resist heat, it's definitely able to resist UV rays, which is also very important, and fire as well.
Wow. Thanks so much for that. The other question is Abushan from Nepal. We've had so many different nationalities in this conversation, which is brilliant. Hello from Nepal. How is plastic melted and homogeneously mixed with the ingredients?
Yeah, so that's one of our patented methods. So we, yeah, that's why we needed to ensure that we don't just mix it and leave it visible for the naked eye, or even in the brick itself. So even when you crush the brick, we made sure that it's so mixed properly that it's not visible. So I can't fully share how the how yeah, it's done. It's one of our patented.
No, that's fine. It's very understandable. Um, Mike has said, do you still use cement when building housing units?
Yes. So we wanted to make it as plug and play as possible. So we didn't want to also have to now teach and train people to use the product, or also not add additional costing of people now having to buy special glue or adhesives to use. So we wanted it to be as plug and play as possible. So you still use cement in building, and you still plaster it as well. So it's used in the same conventional way as a cement or clay brick.
Fantastic. Alvin has asked, could you tell us more in detail about how you process plastic waste to create this brick? It's probably going to be quite a long response, but I don't know if you can do it in sort of a quick snapshot of how that works.
So, like I say, I cannot really tell much because of the patent. But plastic has different strengths and different uses. So we make sure that we mix it. Firstly, we make sure that we mix in proper sizes, and I'm trying
no,
to
that's fine. So that's all good. The other question that Albin's actually asked is, what are the main challenges that you faced when you were creating these bricks? Is there a couple that you could chat about?
Yes, first it was getting plastic in the cement industry. So we struggle when we were prototyping. I mean, it literally took I think about a year, or let's say two, to get this brick as is. So we wanted to keep the shape, form, texture, size, length, everything as is. So we first needed to learn as much as we can about plastic in its very nature. So we needed to learn about the strength of plastic and how the plastics react. And we also needed in our manufacturing process to ensure that the brick is fire retardant. So we didn't want the brick to be fully plastic. So we also needed to mix it properly with other dry and wet ingredients as well, to make sure that the bricks have the same look and feel as a cement stock brick. And we had numerous challenges. Like our biggest challenge was which might sound funny, but the strength that we could attain when we were starting was 10 MPa. So we couldn't go anything lower than that. And the industry norm is 7 MPa. So we then had to figure out how do we do this. We had to learn, and we had like a number of tests. Like we say that we managed to turn my mom's yard, because this is where we started, into a landfill, into a lab, into everything, because we had to know the ins and out. And there was also no research to tend to, or experts to tend to, because this is something that we created ourselves. So everything that was basically trial and error for a good year and a half. And so it was also difficult to get the language right. So when you go speak to a customer and you say plastic brick, they just lose interest just from that name. So we also needed to get our language in terms of marketing correct, to make sure that yes, we say plastic, but what's more common and what's more receptive to, for instance, start saying with an eco brick, and then you divulge and say, listen, but this brick has A, B, C, D, F, G. And then also the funny thing is when you mention that it has about 30% or more plastic, people just want to see the plastic. So there was also a challenge that a lot of people are just like, no, until we can see fully, until we can see the plastic. Some people even smell the brick, and you just like, oh, okay, that's
Oh
new,
my
but
God.
we didn't obviously want a product that's going to be too new for the country, that's also going to require training, and also that's going to make it costly. Because we wanted to keep in mind that we are trying to solve a problem, which is plastic pollution, which is also water scarcity, which is also the lack of proper housing in South Africa. So that's why we had to make it as plug and play as possible.
Incredible. Thank you for that. That's great insight into some of the challenges. I can see there's a lot of questions about the process. So I'm not gonna ask you those ones again. The one question asked about competitors that you've seen in this market. I don't know, when you first started, did you see many other people doing, I guess, trying to do a similar initiative, or are you able to provide some insight into that?
Yeah, so we have a number of, I can call, direct and indirect competitors.
Yeah.
As I mean, innovation is something that's growing. Even in South Africa, it's already growing, where people also have products that are made out of plastic as well. I think the biggest win we can use and we can take is that we're able to recycle your non-recyclables as well. So that's a good benefit for us. And also we made it as plug and play as possible. So we didn't want something new, something too plastic, something unfamiliar, and also something that will end up being a problem in the later years. So that has been how we can then maneuver this. But there is a company that came in the country, I think it's from Colombia. Um, um, they now manufacturing plastic bricks as well. I don't know how I think they're still prototyping. And then we
Yeah.
have also cement manufacturers. Look, we can't shy away from the fact that our product is a brick essentially. So they are indirectly as well our competitors, the cement and stock manufacturers of bricks, because it's still the same product. It might have an upper hand of being eco-friendly, but it's still used as a normal brick as well. I don't know if Kitty wants to share as
Yeah,
well.
no, I think
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Jared's got a really, really good question. What other types of material do you produce apart from bricks? Are you looking into things like roof tiles or any other material?
Yeah, so we currently manufacture the bricks and different types of them. And we are now busy with R&D of roads, So we've identified key benefits of using similar technology in the road industry. So we definitely are looking at expanding our product offering and also our reach in terms of how much plastic we can recycle.
Brilliant. Thank you. And I can see actually quite a few questions that came through about the safety around fire, but you have already provided some insight into that. And I can also see a lot of questions about people asking to get trained by both of you in your area. So yeah, quite a huge amount of interest. The other questions before we wrap up, let me just see. Yeah, a lot of questions about how can they get trained. Do you have you got sites to start, I don't know, manufacturing in different countries around the globe? Or are you just
So we do
focused at the
have,
moment in Africa?
no, so we do have the interest in doing that. It's just, with taking the technology elsewhere, you have to make sure that it's replicated in a responsible manner. It's replicated in the right frame, environment, partnership. So we get a lot of people who are interested in setting up out both in South Africa, Africa, and outside, because plastic is a global issue, And I think what
Yeah.
sets our plastic, our technology apart is the fact that we have developed a way that no plastic or ever, once the plastic is processed, it's fully processed. It will never be an issue again. And that also with the question of competitors is that we've seen the differentiator in that, the fact that our product also ensures that it is a lasting sustainable solution. So in that has also sparked a lot of interest in people wanting to set up. It's just making sure that the partnership is correct with the right people and the market as well. You know, typically when we also learned the hard way that you might have a good product, but you also have to make sure that you've got the market for it and you've got the market appetite. So that market research time that we spend, that product development has been very important in seeing the successes that we're seeing now.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. That's fantastic. Final question for the webinar today. Frederico has asked a question about the potential of countries eliminating the use of plastics. And he's saying, is this going to, or how could this affect your business and how would you cope with it? From my perspective, I think there's going to be so much plastic for many, many years to come that needs to get sorted out. But I don't know if that's something that you've both thought about and could comment on.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are also pro plastic, less plastic being in circulation. We are definitely, and we also understand the issues that come with the environmental issues that come with how plastic is manufactured in the first place, you know. So we definitely believe plastics that are problematic, the single-use and avoidable plastics, we're definitely of the support that these plastics should be done away with. As we established earlier in the presentation, there's different industries that use plastic, and plastic packaging is one of the biggest because it's what we see every day. But there's other ways that plastic gets into the environment. You know, we've got medical, you know, so we've got plastic that ensures that our syringes are safe, that ensure that our, you know, various areas in medical, in our cars. So what we have done is we have cut across different industries so that our solution is long term. So even if in 50 years time, we're no longer here, but our business still exists, whatever plastic that will still be in the environment will still be able to recycle. So the intention is to have less, actually, it's to ensure that zero plastic goes to landfill. So whatever plastic, even if it's the plastic that we cannot do away with, we still need to make sure that it is still recycled. And that is what we are guided by.
And I think the biggest thing we all need to remember is the saying that plastic is not the problem. It's what we do with it that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for telling us your story today. It's truly inspiring, and it's quite incredible that you guys are both sisters and have started this incredible company that is literally changing the world. Everyone here, I hope that everyone enjoyed it. I can see that the comments that are coming through, everyone's been so inspired and I think super excited to see what's going to come out of this product over the years. Hopefully it'll be in many, many countries around the globe, including Australia. So thank you. Thank you both so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll hopefully stay in contact with you. And thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you all, and thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye.